Guys, it's Fonzie with DipYourCar.com. It's the dipping industry. DYC DipCast podcast. I shuffle those up every time.
No rhyme or
This is
reason.
episode number 22.
There you go. That's why it's there.
Yes, thank you. It's Fonzie from DipYourCar.com. With me, as always, is Adam, our sound guy, Dan, over in the corner, playing Candy Crush on his phone. We've got a really cool episode, a nice little mix-up episode. We got a new guest that we've never spoken to before, a guy who's been around for a while. We've got other stuff.
Yeah, we actually have a loaded show sheet today. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to touch on everything, but we have an interview. We're going to talk a little bit about Featured Installer of the Month, Dip of the Month.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to obviously do our new segment, the Showcase Shoutouts.
Showcase, not Showdown. Showcase Shoutouts.
It seemed like that was pretty popular. People were pretty pumped to
that was awesome.
get that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about something new that is on our website. It would be beneficial for not only installers but customers.
Yeah.
And then we're going to announce the winners, the 20 winners of the new shirt raffle that we did.
Yes. Oh, that was awesome. And we'll talk about it then. I don't want to talk about it too much. So right now, we had a very close, and we'll talk about this with them, but we had a very, very, very close featured installer of the month contest for April.
Yeah, April.
Yeah, for April of 2015. And we have the winner of that contest on the phone right now. We've got Jose from DipTex Customs in Houston, Texas. Jose, you there?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right.
Good, man. Now, that came down to the wire between you and Jeremy Roars, also from Houston. It was kind of like a Houston showdown. Were you guys chatting back and forth while it was coming down to the wire there, or were you kind of keeping it to yourself?
I didn't realize how close it was up until the very last minute.
Yeah.
Jeremy actually messaged me right when it ended, and I had no idea it ended. I was looking at the time it would end. It said something about like 7:22 in the afternoon, and I had got a vote in, and Jeremy wrote me right after that, and he was just like, "Oh, dude, you beat me. What happened?" And I was like, "What's going on? What's up?" He was like, "Dude, you got me by one vote." Apparently, someone had voted literally like 2 seconds before you shut down the voting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then that was the deciding factor.
It says on the thread exactly when the poll's going to end. So, and I know that people jump on there last minute and everything, and that one was down to the wire. Jeremy had a great submission. You had an awesome submission. When you sent in the first couple pictures of this car, I was like, geez, dude, this looks freaking awesome. Very interesting, unique vehicle. Tell us, first of all, about the vehicle, because it doesn't look like anything else that's been submitted before.
Okay, so I've had this car for probably 3.5 years now, going on 4. When I originally bought it, this was my plan that I was gonna go for. The only reason I didn't go for it was because at the time it was cheaper for me to go low than it was to go high, and I kind of had this. I was going through this low car phase, and I just wanted to try it out. So I went low for a while. If you look back at some of my older posts of when I had dipped it before, it was always low, and I got tired of that one day. Actually cracked a rim, and I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm going up with it. So I picked up all the suspension. I picked up the wheels and tires. I literally did it in probably about an hour and a half. Like, I pulled into my shop at night, and it was low. The next morning I pulled out, and it was lifted, and everyone was just like, what?
Dude. And it's got...
So it worked out.
You've got really wide fender flares going on in the back. Is that custom through you? Is that a wide body kit? Is that something that you did yourself?
That's actually a Scion FRS Rocket Bunny kit.
Wow.
On the back of the car.
Dude, the thing looks angry. It's got like one of those like zombie mobile, like get the heck out of the way.
I was thinking like Mad Max.
Yeah, it's an angry machine. So not only do you have all of that going on, I mean, does it not have a front and back bumper? Is that by design?
Well, I had cut the bumpers in half, the front and the rear.
Yeah.
I was actually going to get some metal bumpers made, which I'm still waiting on. A good buddy of mine owns a fabrication shop in town, and he's been telling me he's going to build me bumpers for the longest time, and it's just more of a I can't get to him when he can get to me type of thing.
That's always how it
goes. So
eventually
I'll get those bumpers on, and it'll be complete.
Okay. Definitely going to keep my eyes open for that. So tell me about the dip on this car. Now, it's dark and angry looking, just like the car, and if I looked at it just off the pictures, I probably wouldn't be able to guess what pearl you did. But not only is the pearl nasty, it's a very, very glossy looking car. So what pearl did you use? What's the color?
It's actually a custom mix. It was Trident Chameleon with some Black Betty mixed in.
Okay.
Now, I actually have to give credit to that to Jeremy. I actually went down to Pearls and Pigments, which is super convenient considering he's probably 20 minutes away from me.
Mm-hmm.
I ran in there and I said, man, I have to dip my car a new color. And I was like, well, what color are you thinking? And it was me, Jeremy, and Tim standing in the room. And he was like, oh, well, dude, check this out. I just made these. And he's showing me all these different colors he made. And I was like, what's that? And he's like, oh, this is a custom mix and yada, yada. So I said, oh, well, just give me that. Give me that. I'll run with that. And I picked it up, and it's actually the same mixture that Jeremy had put on Tim's car. It's just a little bit more Black Betty mixed. I believe Tim's mix was 60% Black Betty. This one was 80%.
Jesus. So this is 80% Black Betty, just 20% Triton?
Yeah.
Wow.
I probably got, I want to say I got about 100 grams on the car. I went real light with the pearl.
Yeah.
Over a black base, and then I did, of course, the pure top coat on top.
And how many coats of the top coat on top?
Just 3.
Okay. And what setup are you using? What gun setup are you using over there?
I'm using the Titan cap spray setup.
Okay, the 105.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you take a look at that car. I mean, you know, we have a lot of people that come in and out of our office, and some people know what dipping is. Some of them don't. Different vendors, visitors, all sorts of different stuff. And we were going over this thread today because we were preparing for the interview, and I was showing it to one of those guys, and he's just, this is a perfect example of being just taken back at how far Dip has gone. I mean, yeah, the car is a very unique car. It's a niche car, but there's, 9 times out of 10 when people look at that, there's just no way they think that that's dipped, man. It's just, I mean, you really knocked that one out of the park from a gloss level for sure.
Sweet, I appreciate it.
Was this
I actually get?
Go ahead.
I've had a few customers come in and they asked me if I just got rid of the dip.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I just redipped it. Like, what do you mean you redipped it? I was like, it's the new top coat. I have to go out and explain it to them and walk them around the car and all that. But I mean, it's a daily question.
And how is this the first time you use the top coat, or did you get a bunch of practice in before that?
Right when it released, I ordered a bunch of it just so I could play with it. I was pretty good using the original glossifier. So when this released, I was like, okay, well, let me try to get a head start on it, see if I can get it figured out before a bunch of people get used to it, and then I'm just like everybody else. So I ordered a bunch of it, and I tested it on a few panels I had laying around here, and I couldn't get it to lay correctly. And actually, I was going back and forth with Jeremy over at Pros and Pigments, and we were like coming up with different ideas, and try spraying like this, try this far away, try this close, and it was just a bit confusion, but eventually I got it kind of figured out. So I went and tested it on I have a competition audio vehicle in the shop. I tested it on the whole car. I did a pure gold over a black base, and I didn't put any top coat on top. I just mixed the pearl straight in. I shot that, and it came out good. And I was like, okay, well, let me try it on another car. So I actually had a Cadillac drop off, the Cadillac CTS wagon, and that one I did, I believe, 2 coats of top coat on top, if I remember correctly. And then came mine. So it was a third one, but this was the only one I shot pure top coat on top of.
Yeah.
So
I remember that caddy,
the weather, too. Just everything lined up.
Yeah, I remember that caddy too. I remember I may even messaged you on Facebook like, oh, crap, dude, you're starting to dial that top coat in. I can tell. And this one just came out nasty, man. You know what? This is a perfect example of what wins a contest like that, because it's like that perfect storm of really unique car. So even regardless of the color, regardless of the dip, that's going to grab your attention whether you love it or you're going to hate it. And the worst thing that you can have in a contest is somebody to feel neutral about your entry. They don't love it, they don't hate it, no emotion, they're going to go right by it. So you got people's attention with that. It's a very unique vehicle. And then the color, like I said, most people aren't going to be able to just pinpoint, oh, that's Triton with Black Betty in it. I didn't know what the mix was, which is awesome, because anytime a dipper, and remember the people voting on this are participating members of the forum, so they are people who are doing dip jobs. And when you have somebody look at a car like that and not be able to know what color it is, now you've got their interest, because like, dude, what pearl was that? And then it looks glossy as a son of a gun. So I think all the way around, it was a close one. And Jeremy, like you said, he's got a lot going on, and he had a really good entry too. But I think that this was one of those ones where it was just bound to win the contest for that month, dude.
Sweet.
And I think that this is going to, remember, every featured installer of the month, every dip of the month goes into the contest for dip of the year. This one I think is going to stand out on the dip of the year one too.
I hope so.
Now, you are in Houston, Texas, and right now you can find, if you're in Houston or if you're in Texas at all and you want to get your car dipped by Jose at DipTex, you go straight to DipYourCar.com, click on Find a Local DYC Installer, and he is right at the top there, featured authorized DYC Installer of the month. The number to get a hold of Jose is 832-446-6083. And if you want to check out some of his other dip jobs and some of the really happy customers that he has, Facebook.com/DipTex Customs. You can see everything from there. And you can get an immediate quote from Jose going right to our website. And right under his listing, there's a little button that says, click now to get an installation quote from DipTex. Click that, fill out the information. It goes right to Jose, super quick on the emails, and he'll get it right back to you. So thank you so much for the time, Jose. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on the win. You definitely deserved it.
I appreciate it, guys.
All right. I'll talk to you very soon, dude.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Take care.
It's nice to hear installers, in similar areas working together, knowing that it's mutually beneficial to work together and push the industry together, as opposed to, granted, they're two close installers. Somebody's going to Jose or Jeremy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's competition. But ultimately, the more people you get through the door, the more people you turn on to dipping, the better it is for every installer out there.
Yeah, and Jose and Jeremy are just those types of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy's a guy who wants to be involved in the community way more than just a dipper. Like, he wants to help people. If he learns something, he wants to teach people what he's learned. Right. He wants to share. He was one of the very first guys to run around and play with pearls, and he was the first guy to post. Instead of saying, yeah, I know how to do pearls, nobody asked me about it, I'm not saying anything. He was the first one to post threads on the DYC forum saying, guys, if you want to run with pearls, here's how you get it done. Right. Then he started helping putting pearls in people's hands. So and Jose is every time I message that guy, it's like I can just see like a big smile on his face. He's like a charismatic dude, man. He's always like, thanks, dude, I really appreciate it.
He's a good dude.
He's a good dude. So now we're moving on to the dip of the month. Dip of the month, very crazy dip. I mean, a lot of work went into this one. This is by Jeff Long. This is his Reptilian Scion XB. So this is a guy who took some color coats down, and then he comes in with this insane mesh lace reptilian skin stencil, and does this reptilian skin, looks like snake skin, over the entire car.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm gonna make sure that, and remind me to do this, there'll be a link in the description of this video with the thread on the DYC forums that shows his winning thread and shows exactly what this lace looks like, shows him spraying it. I mean, he's got an airbrush involved. Very, very cool. I mean, and this, what's funny about Jeff Long? It's like he's won Featured Installer of the Month. He's won Dip of the Month. He's been around for a while now. Mm-hmm. Very dedicated to what he does. And one of the things that he gets, as I probably said it with the Featured Installer of the Month thing, one of the things that he gets is that if you are running a dipping business, or even if you're a do-it-yourselfer and you want to get attention, you have to have a head-turning car.
Right.
Don't do something, well, I mean, granted, clean, solid, crisp dip jobs will turn heads, and they will draw attention. But if you want people to remember you, if you want people to look on the car for any type of signature or identification, do stuff like that.
Right.
This is the second dip in a row that he's done on this specific vehicle that's been like, geez, I've never seen anything like that. Very unique. Now, I haven't spoken to him personally about how difficult this was to do and how many hours went into it. But when you see the picture of him draping that stencil over the hood,
mm-hmm.
all I'm thinking of is that has to be on there so freaking tight and secure.
Right.
If it's raised up off the surface even a little bit, you're never going to get those crisp lines and designs.
It's like the carbon fiber kit.
It's exactly like that. So excellent job on that. He should be super proud of himself. it's just one of those dips that's like, man, I'm proud to be in the dipping industry with dips like that going around, because you know what? You don't see that stuff.
Right.
I mean, there's crazy paint jobs out there. There's crazy vinyl jobs out there. But that's one of the things I like about dip. That's different than than paint or vinyl. Yeah, you can cut out or buy a snakeskin vinyl wrap and slap it on your car. But you're going to get what 3M or what Avery tells you looks good.
Right.
You go and you Google snakeskin vinyl wrap. Maybe you find 4 or 5. But that's 4 or 5 options that vinyl wrap company is telling you looks good. Maybe that's not what you want. Maybe Jeff Long wanted exactly this.
Right.
With dip, you have creative control.
Right.
You can tweak your pearls or your color coats to the tiniest degree to get it exactly the way you wanted it to look. Paint, again, you can do that stuff too, but now it's permanent.
Right.
So if Jeff was learning as he went and there's some complex stuff going on, if he did mess up, peels it. Any removable liquid wrap, product, peels it, keeps going. So that type of a product is just perfect for this, and he should be super proud because, man, you take that project on, you stick it out all the way through, more power to you, man. Yeah. It's freaking awesome.
There's definitely an art to it.
Yeah, and there's here's the thing. That's one of those months that's just a runaway.
Right.
It's just a runaway, man. I mean, you got a lot of other cool dip of the month contestants that were in that month. Sometimes a car just comes in or a vehicle comes in. It's like, no,
I mean,
winner. I could tell already.
Exactly. If you're in that competition, you can't even get mad losing to a car like that.
Man.
I mean, you got to be proud of your car. Probably any other month you'd probably win, but it's just one of those things where you throw your hands up in the air and say, Jeff, he's got me this month, but you just come back stronger the next month.
Absolutely. And what's funny is Jeff's not going to let up either. I guarantee you next time he does one, it'll be crazy again.
Right.
So good job to Jeff Law there for sure.
All right, let's move on to the showcase shoutouts.
Showcase shoutouts. We're giving a lot of people. This whole episode is almost about giving people
love
or props or limelight. Velez, you have anything to offer so far or no?
I'm good.
What level are you on Candy Crush?
I think 222.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. He's not playing. Okay, so we've got 4 showcase shoutouts for this week. The first one, London Fee from Dip Hawaii, authorizes Dip Your Car installer out in Hawaii, does this insane thing. I mean, project, a job or a whatever, a color doesn't even come close to covering it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make sure that we get as many details as we can on this, but he's got this car that is just completely on another level as far as foreground to background to detail work, line work. I'm going to make sure I get a couple pictures up here so people can see it. And if you have any specific questions about how he got it done, you can reach out to him and ask him.
I mean, he's just another artist that's out there. That
he's absolutely an artist. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like you may say, oh, man, Dip Hawaii again. Show me somebody that's doing stuff like he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's just one of those things where he's got a lot going on. It's like he gets a base color down, he gets a nice subtle pearl down, and then he's got line work and masking work that just sharp as an arrow. I mean, very intricate, takes a ton of time to get it done. He's got graffiti and airbrushing within that. Man, that dude, very, very, very cool. So Dip Hawaii. Again, if you go on to DipYourCar installers, DipYourCar.com, click on Find a Local DipYourCar Installer, click on Hawaii, you can find London Fee there. And if you want some custom work done, this is definitely the guy to get it done in Hawaii. So freaking awesome job on that. Next, showcase shout out. I want to say showdown every single time. What is that from?
I think we said
Price is Right? I
Price is
still
Right.
Can't remember that.
Yeah, at the end where they go, oh no, it's when you win the and then it's the 2 people and they're, guessing like, oh, new car, vacation, and you try to get within the
spot on explanation.
I mean, right? Everybody at home is like, yeah, when I'm sick and I'm at home, showcase showdown. Yeah. Sean
Carson, an avid do-it-yourselfer. Avid do-it-yourselfer. Guy changes the color of his and his wife's cars weekly.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
this guy is one of those guys. He did intense teal on his wife's Volkswagen. Sharp guy. This sharp car. This is a guy who comes in essentially knowing, like all of us, you start from zero. You know nothing about dipping. And he just continued to try and try and try
Right.
and try. Now he's banging out dip jobs. They look nice and clean. I mean, he's down visiting Gabe at the retail store all the time. We know him. Super, super nice guy, too.
Best
Very
part
friendly.
about him, too, is he'll post a photo,
Mhm.
and there'll always be that caveat of, oh, I love it, but there's still room for
He
improvement.
wants to grow every time.
Exactly. And people are like, what are you talking about, dude? From the pictures you're sending, they look great. And he's not one that's taking a picture from really far away.
No.
He's up there. These pictures look great.
Yeah,
So
he should be very proud. He's come a very long way in a short period of time, and he's really grabbed onto the whole dipping thing, and he's having fun with it.
Right.
I mean, at the very core of what dipping is, you can change the color of your vehicle whenever you want, and then peel it back off and go
Right.
back. Do it as many times or as little times as you want every year, and he's got that locked down. Very cool. Sean Carson. Showcase shout out. Obviously, Jeremy Roars bangs out really sick dip jobs every once in a while. He'll just do one that's just looks different than everything else. He did a GTR this past week, Team Orange Pearl, which we've seen him do before, but he did a custom orange base coat. And here's the thing: when you're using solid pearls, I have a very specific preference, personally anyway, that when you use a solid pearl, you put the solid pearl over a like color base coat
Right.
that's darker than the pearl. If you put Team Orange over, let's back up. If you put Suzuka Blue over Cobalt Blue, those are so like each other, so close. You're going to get excellent coverage. You're going to end up with a beautiful pearl blue car, but you're not going to have the depth there because you're not going to have the layering.
Right.
So what Jeremy did on this one, he makes a custom orange base using Firebelly orange and another orange gallon that's not released yet that we're having him play with right now. He mixes those two together. He has this very deep, aggressive orange, then throws a Team Orange on top, and then DYC top coat on top of that. So you've got this insanely rich, deep orange underneath, and then the Team Orange on top, and that's where you get that depth. And this is a perfect showcase, pun intended, of that depth and how you can create that. So very cool from Jeremy Roars. Obviously a DYC installer in Texas as well. You can get a hold of him if you want to get your dips done by Jeremy. And then again, another DYC installer. We're not looking specifically for DYC installers for the Showcase Showdowns, but what we do is we take note of dips that really kind of stand out as the week goes on. And I'm going to make a note about that in a second. We've got Sean Dungan from Dip Your Whip in Georgia. He did Nebula Blue on this pickup truck, and it's one of those ones where it's like the car or the vehicle kind of flies under the radar. It's not
Right.
super flashy. Nebula Blue is a very standardized, a very standard type color. It's a very rich blue. I actually love Nebula Blue. We did Nebula Blue on the S8, I think, when we were going to do that TV show. Love that color. And then he comes in with the DYC top coat and he just creates one of those pictures that as you scan past it, you don't even stop as a dipper because it registers as an OEM factory paint
absolutely.
job. And that stood out. A lot of people, if you read the comments on when he posted that on Facebook, very, very supportive. Like, dude, that looks like factory paint. He did a great job. He uses some high-end equipment. He does some really good work. He's got that side of it dialed in really well. So really cool job by Sean Dungan, also an authorized DYC installer. If you want to get in touch with Sean and get your car dipped by him, DYC installers, and click on Georgia, and you can get in contact with Sean, get a quote from him right off the website. So the last thing I want to say about Showcase Showdown or Showcase Shoutout,
It's like the episode number. You'll get there eventually.
it's the little things I don't pay much attention to. Is that we really try to scan through and collect and identify really cool dip jobs to bring onto the showcase thing. So what I would do is I would suggest to people, if you watch the program and you want to get your car or your vehicle, your dip job in the running for a showcase shout out, use, and I'm not a hashtag guy really, but throw the hashtag showcase shout out on your picture. Because what I went through today while we were trying to collect the ones that we were noting, I was like, I wish there was a hashtag to search for. Because we did this 20-person raffle for the new T-shirts, and what we did was share the picture, use the hashtag FreeDYC,
and it was easy.
It was so easy. Then we took all the names, threw them into the randomizer on the computer, and it picks one and one and one and one. I would love to come in on a Wednesday and then do a search on Dippers Anonymous, DYC community, and Facebook in general for hashtag showcase shout out, and then boom, all the ones of the people that want to participate are all there. So keep that in mind. It's going to be much easier for us to identify those dips as we go.
All right.
What's next?
Next, we're going to talk a little bit. I mean, you kind of mentioned it. I don't know if you want to touch base on it at all.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to it for just a second, but finish what you were saying.
All right. How we recently added a new tool for customers and for installers on the website. If you click on Find a Local DYC Installer, click on your state, and you search in your state, underneath each installer's name will be a little button that basically gives you the opportunity to get a quote from your localized installer.
Yeah, and what we're always trying to do is evolve and bring value to the installer program, to the DYC installer program. And we've been working on the coding for this for a while. We work with a great third-party team. A lot of work goes into something like this. There's a lot on the front end, and then there's a butt ton on the back end that has to all be connected and together.
Hashtag butt ton.
So what you're able to do now is, we're as an installer, is capture more of an impulse from the people that
regroup.
No, I mean, you're going to use that hashtag now, I know, which is fantastic. You're able to kind of capture that impulse. So we have thousands of people every day that are on the website.
Right.
And within those thousands of people, thousands of them, we can track all this traffic, are surfing through the Find a Local DYC Installer through every state. Well, if you're doing it at 10 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, 1 in the morning, and your intent was, oh, man, I'm in Georgia. I wonder how much it would cost to get my car dipped by this guy. Well, it's 10:30 at night. I'll call him tomorrow. I'll email him tomorrow. Well, that's an impulse that we've lost.
Right.
Sales, I mean, that is a sales business. Sales is all about impulse. Allow people to do things when they want to do it. Make a path for them to follow.
Quick and easy.
So what we did is allowed people to connect on that impulse. You're on DipYourCar.com. You're wondering if you can get your car dipped by somebody. And then there's a button right there. Oh, I can get a quote right now. You click on it. There's a very quick online form to fill out. And then it goes directly to the authorized DYC installer, right to their email. And a lot of these guys are on their emails religiously. They get you a quote right back. So it's connecting the consumer and the installer on a level that's never been done before.
Right.
And it works like a charm. I mean, obviously, you guys know how we are with long-term testing, real long-term testing. Not just saying that we do it. And we put people through this stuff, even in little focus groups, and say, all right, well, how is it working, and what are we collecting, and and we adjust it and mold it. And then, I mean, Dan works on the distribution team. We got a dozen people emailing in today going, yo, got a hit. Well, how do I handle it? You even have people that are responding to it the wrong way and responding back to us instead of the consumer. So we'll get that all dialed in and polished. But very, very cool. We've been working on that for a while, and we will continue to build out value into the authorized DYC installer program. What's next?
All right, next, one of the last things that we're going to talk about is we're just going to announce the winners of the raffle.
Yeah. Boom, man. It's been how long? 2 years? I don't know. Nobody here knows. It's been a long time since we've had new DYC T-shirt designs. We've been working on them forever. Jared, man, he loves to be creative, but a lot of his job is process oriented.
Right.
So when we're working on a big project, like there's a very, very large project we're working on now, it takes up so much of his time.
Right.
He doesn't get to play with the creative stuff as much. So we finally sat down, we whittled out of a bunch of ideas that he had, 3 designs that we want to work with. We've got the DYC Motorsport shirt. I'll probably put them right in that area. The DYC Motorsport shirt, very clean, very cool shirt. I actually really love that one. I wore that today for a while. we have the DYC Vintage Shirt, which is the first rendition of the logo that I did in very early 2011. It was actually on our website for the first 2 months, and there's actually 5 shirts printed up. There was one in here. I don't know what happened to it, but there were 5 shirts printed up with the original vintage logo on it, and they're still floating around. And whenever I show it on Instagram once a year or whatever, people are like, dude, freaking get that shirt online. So we were able to bring the vintage back, and then Jared's Pride and Joy designed the Arm & Sprayer, which is a very interesting shirt as well. A lot of people have been picking that up, surprisingly. So we've got these 3 designs, and we wanted to, we love to give stuff out. So we wanted to give out a bunch of them. Right. And we just ran with 20 people. So you have the list of the 20 winners.
Mm-hmm. All right. So make sure if I call your name that sounds like a teacher. Make sure that's true. If I announce your name, that you just email me which style, one of the 3, one of the 3, your shipping address and your shirt size.
Yes. And Adam at DipYourCar.com is where you're going to email. We're going to spell out the names here in case Adam doesn't pronounce them properly. And then, who knows if that's going to happen or not, 'cause some of these are difficult. And then make sure if you see your name here, you shoot Adam an email as soon as you can, because we want to get these shirts out too.
Right. Okay, so we're just going to, based on what your name is on Facebook. So we have Mike from Daytona. We have Jason Worf with an F. Antonio Feliciano. Eric Matthew Anderson. Jake Wethington. Joseph Bravo. Caitlin Eddington. Yeah, that one we'll spell out. Juan Hernandez, Derek Long, Chandler Jock, Kevin Crow, Benjamin Ramirez, Don Sheave, Clay Hansen, Garen Flanders, Allison Alley, Yusoto Pyres, Craig Montgomery, Matt Lyons, Kira Willett. And I will say, I wore the white DYC one out to dinner the other day, and I had somebody, oh, you guys got new shirts. It's like, yeah. He's like, when did they come out? Yeah. And I said they just released not too long ago. So there is a buzz about those shirts. People like those. And you ran through those pretty darn quickly. So we're gonna make sure, I guess, at the end of this, I'll have a little bit of a credit there that'll just kind of list everybody out. So make sure if you win, make sure you get your free T-shirt. Don't let that thing hang around. Right. Absolutely. Okay. And there we go. Do we have time for a question, you think? We're running at 33, so no. Okay, so we'll save questions for next week. Right. I think we just have one more topic that we were going to kind of talk about. Our boy Frankie started us off pretty hot. Yes, Frankie Edgar, one of our favorite all-time fighters. He won. Congratulations to him. He beat Uriah Faber last Saturday. Weird time for the fight, 11 o'clock in the morning, but he beat Uriah Faber in every single round. Right. I mean, we're not going to get into a huge UFC debate right now, but the guy obviously deserves the title shot, so hopefully he'll get the winner of Conor McGregor and Jose Aldo. And if you are a UFC fan, I'd love for you to put in the comments below who you think is going to win the Aldo-McGregor fight. But very, very cool for us. And then this Saturday, the biggest UFC DYC weekend ever. We've sponsored a lot of fighters. This is the biggest for DYC ever. Saturday, usual time, 10 o'clock, UFC pay-per-view 187. Very stacked card. You got Andrei Arlovski versus Travis Brown. You've got Donald Cerrone versus John Medeski. Donald Cerrone is a DYC athlete. Donald Cowboy Cerrone will be walking out to the cage in a DipYourCar.com T-shirt. Then you've got Chris Weidman, the middleweight champion, putting his belt up against Vitor Belfort. Huge fight. And then you've got the main event, Daniel Cormier and Anthony Johnson going after John Jones's belt. Daniel Cormier, a DYC athlete. He will be wearing a DipYourCar.com Saw him on Instagram today. Yes. Posting a photo. Yep. Huge. Any predictions? Go around the horn real quick. I mean, I'm just going. Might as well just go with DC and Johnson. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going Team DYC all day, all
you
night.
don't really have a choice, do you?
No.
Okay, so everybody wants DC to win. I also want DC to win. That would be massive for everybody involved. So we'll see what happens. And I will definitely be active on Instagram that night, hopefully in a positive way. So got everything we wanted to covered. Next week, we'll stack up on some more of those questions. We've got those piling in. We got Jose, awesome guy. Glad we got him on the line. And we will check you guys on the next episode.